One of the many projects that I've enjoyed doing this fall is narrating the NFL films and EPIX produced series NFL Icons. It's a dynamite documentary, soup to nuts, on the subject at hand, and the subject of this weekend's Saturday night at 10 Eastern Time NFL Icon show on EPIX is joining me here on the Mercedes-Benz Vans phone line. The GOAT from Pro Football Hall of Fame, San Francisco 49ers, and more. Jerry Rice back on the show. How are you, Jerry?
Rich, I'm good. Have you watered? Have you fertilized?
You know, this is an excellent question, Jerry. Normally I don't flip it back on the person who asked me the question, but have you watered? Have you fertilized today?
Yes, I have, and I'm raring to go right now because I'm on your show.
Of course, you're Jerry Rice. You water and fertilize every day. I mean, that's the way it works. What's the best speech you heard Bill Walsh give you? What was the best one where the whole team's together and Bill just he just rallied the troops, or what was? You got a good one for me on that one?
It was the one from the Gladiator, Russell Crowe. That movie. So he just came in, he put the film on, all the coaches just walked out of the room, and we watched this clip saying, whatever comes into this arena, if we work together, we have a chance of surviving. We have a chance of winning. And after watching that clip, Rich, you had guys ready to run through the wall. We were ready to play. And I think we went out and we won that Super Bowl.
So that movie is the one that actually got you up and running, huh?
Oh my God, my heart was racing like crazy. And man, because as a cohesive group of guys, you have to work together as one heartbeat, brick to brick. You can't be a weak link in that chain. If you're a weak link in that chain, we're not going to have success on the football field. So, the majority of the guys, they prided themselves on how they practiced during the week, not being a weak link in that chain. And I think that's the reason why we were, had that dynasty for so long.
So when was the first time, Jerry, that you met Montana? You got a good recollection? You're just drafted. You're coming out of, obviously, small school, HBCU, and you're drafted by the 49ers, and there's Montana. What was
Redwood City? I'll never forget it, Rich. I'm sitting across, and I'm looking at Joe Montana, Dwight Clark, Ronnie Lott, all of these, Hall of Famers, and I'm saying to myself, oh, my God, I'm around legends right now, and I'm just this small guy from Mississippi, HBCU, trying to find myself. So, it was like deer in the headlights because I was looking at greatness. And they had just won the Super Bowl. I think it was at Stanford Stadium against the Miami Dolphins, and I got drafted right after that. So just being around those guys and to watch those guys, how they conduct themselves, how to be a professional on and off the football field, it's just something that I try to follow.
So did you have to – was there a moment where you felt you had to prove yourself, or did they know who you were? Did they see your college tape at all, or they just had to trust the process that, okay, they know who this kid from Mississippi is? I mean, what was that like, Jerry?
Hey, Rich, I think they had to trust the process because we didn't have that much – they didn't have that much film on me.
I bet.
But, they trusted Bill Walsh. And Bill gave me the opportunity to live a dream, man, because, to play professional football and also get paid for it. And I never looked at it like it was a job. It was something that I just loved doing because you get the opportunity to showcase your ability in front of 60,000 people or more, going up against some of the best competition ever. And, I just wanted to just prove to everyone that coming out of Mississippi Valley State University, it's like almost like finding that diamond in the rough. And I just wanted to live up to that expectation where they could, if I had success on the football field, then they can go back in there and look at other players and hopefully give them the same opportunity.
Well, Jerry Rice here on the Rich Eisen Show. Your work ethic is the stuff of legend, right? I mean, we know about many parts of your work ethic, from running hills and then obviously routes. And where did that come from? Why? Essentially, two questions all rolled into one.
Rich, I think it came from my parents, because my father was a bricklayer, and my father would take me to work with him during the summer, and it was very demanding work, man. We would get started about 7 o'clock, and the temperature would be like maybe about 115 degrees outside, and I had a job to do, and I used to be up on this scaffold that was about 20 feet in the air, and I remember my brother throwing bricks up to me. The bricks would separate in the air. I would snatch them out of the air. And, it just taught me about hard work and dedication. But, he was like the provider of the family. And I just knew that I wanted to do something special in life. I wanted to, if I could, play professional football, build my parents a house in Starkville, Mississippi. That was the first thing. The second I signed my contract, I wanted to build my parents a new home, and I was able to do that. But, I think the hard work just came from my parents, and it was just dedication.
Was there ever a moment where you did just say, you know what, I'm tired. I don't need to. I can just rest on my laurels. I'm already done this, been done that. I mean, did that never creep in your mind? Never, not even once.
Never got complacent. Stayed hungry. My teammates would tell me every day, like, why are you working so hard? I just felt like every time I stepped onto that football field, I had to prove myself. I had to earn it. If I was going into year 8, I still felt I had to go to training camp, and I had to show everybody that I deserved to be that starter on that given Sunday, Monday, those playoff games or those Super Bowls. So I never got complacent.
Jerry Rice here on the Rich Eisen Show. NFL Icons, Jerry Rice's story on EPIX, Saturday night at 10 Eastern Time, NFL Films, and your story. What would you say your story is, Jerry? What is your story?
I think my story is that just hard work, the appreciation. Fans inspiring me to go out and play my best football. The fear of failure that just continued to push me. Never felt like I was one of the greatest of all time, and just continue to work hard. So I think when people think about me, they think about my legacy of work ethic.
Yep.
That's it.
That is a fact. So what do you make, Jerry Rice here on the Rich Eisen Show, what do you make of the current 49ers team, Jerry? What are your 2 cents on that one?
I think they're still searching for an identity. They're 2-4 right now. And somewhere the players got to take over the team. And that was something Bill Walsh always did. He would let the players take over the team. How you practice. If things are not going right during a ball game or something like that, having those veterans to step up, pull the team together, rally, say what you have to say and say, hey, look, we got to go out there on that football field. We got to win this football game. So I think they're still searching right now. I'm hoping that they really get hot in November. And when you 2-4, what I don't want to see is players quitting. No matter what, because you paid to do a job. You have to take pride in it. Even if the season is not going the way you want it to go, you still have to go out there and you have to continue to want to get better. So I don't want to see that aspect of the game, but, hopefully they can get really hot in November and somehow get into the playoffs.
What do you mean by Walsh would let the players take over? What do you mean by that?
Well, the coaches, they can put together a game plan.
Right.
But the players, they got to have, that work ethic. They got to set the standard. And if a veteran is seeing like a younger guy not doing what he's supposed to do, pull that young guy aside, have a conversation with him. Let him know that, hey, we have a certain standard here, and right now you're not living up to that standard. So that's really what Bill wanted, the players to pretty much do.
So maybe there's not enough of those guys on this current roster. I mean, because Kyle Shanahan, he's smart enough to know, what is up or what needs to be retooled or fixed. So, like, what counsel would you give him on that front of something that you saw that Walsh was able to fine tune, Jerry?
Well, I think with Kyle Shanahan, he got to decide if we're going to be a running team or if we're going to be a passing team. And you got to stick with it. And, I understand that, George Kittle is hurt right now and Jimmy G is not playing his best football. But put those players in a position to be successful on the football field. Now those players got to they got to go out there and do the job. They got to be accountable, and they got to get it done. But decide on one. Because Bill was always that type of coach. He felt like if we ran the football, it opened up the pass. Mm-hmm. If we threw the ball, that opened up the run. So you got to pick one or the other. And I understand Mostert went down, but I still believe they have running backs that can step in because it's always about, Rich, next man up.
Jerry, do you have
injuries in football?
Do you have any 2 cents on what might be up with Ayuk? I mean, kid was taken off last year, and right now he's just he's gone. I mean, his production is virtually non-existent.
Yeah,
Jerry?
God, I think we all go through different scenarios and stuff like that, and you got to be able to fight through it. And you got to have veterans around you that can pull you aside and have that conversation with you. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's it right now. I feel like he's very talented, but it's all about the design and, maybe get this guy more opportunities. I don't know, but right now, I would say with the San Francisco 49ers,
yes, sir,
their backs are against the wall. Mm-hmm. I want to see how they're going to come out. And like I stated earlier, I don't want to see no quit in this team. I still want to see the effort and this team trying to go out there and win football games. And if they can get hot in November, then we'll see what happens.
All right, and then last one for you on the current state then, Jerry. I mean, I don't think this is even in the same area code of it, but I'll bring it up anyway. I mean, you were there, had a front row seat from, when Steve Young showed up and Montana was there, and obviously Jimmy G doesn't have the resume of Montana, and Trey Lance is a kid who's, hardly done anything in this league. Well, Young came from the USFL. I get it. Do you think there's anything up with the quarterback position and the fact that it was Jimmy G to start and now Lance is there, or anything that could be kind of getting this team off a kilter because there's two quarterbacks sitting right there with the elephant in the room with the kid who just got drafted at all?
Well, sure. Rich, I've never been one of those guys that felt like you could, have two quarterbacks. I always wanted to know exactly who was on the center. And whatever I had to do, try to make that mm-hmm. person on the center great on the football field. So you need those reps, you need that chemistry and all of those things, And I think with Kyle Shanahan, he was saying Jimmy G was going to play, then Trey Lance was going to play, and I just don't, I don't like that mixture. But Kyle Shanahan is he's the coach of the San Francisco 49ers. Mm-hmm. He makes all of those decisions. But I was one of those guys that always felt like I needed to know who was going to be that guy. And then I was going to taper my game around him where he was going to be successful on the football field.
How's Goat Fuel? How's everything going on in your businesses?
Hey, man, the greatest of all time, man. It's doing well. I'm excited. We got a lot of goats out there, and, mm-hmm. I'm very fortunate to have my daughter as my CEO. And we are scaling, and we're building. We're having a great time. But the greatest of all time is not just for athletes. It could be a frontline worker. Hey, Rich, mm-hmm. You're a goat, right?
Well, you've seen it firsthand, Jerry. You've seen it firsthand, the it being speed. You've seen it. You've seen it firsthand twice now, Jerry.
That's why you're the greatest of all time.
Jerry, your largesse and your philanthropy and your help with my run last 2 years has really taken it to new heights, and I can't thank you enough for that, man. And anytime you're there, it just sends a complete jolt through anybody that's part of the fundraising effort. So you are the man. I just wanted to say that out loud one more time. Really.
Hey, Rich,
truly.
I'm always going to be there for you, man. And I think it's fantastic work that you're doing for St. Jude, okay?
Thank you. Right back at you.
All right, buddy.
Jerry, you take care. Appreciate the call. You be well.
All right.
That's Jerry Rice. Check out NFL Icons with Jerry Rice's story. Great story. One that's been told many times, but not like this, through NFL Films and EPIX, 10 Eastern Time on Saturday night. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.